Hey guys, we are at episode 8 of Starmyu season 2, and in this week's episode, Riku has gotten the much needed development since his character introduction back in episode 1. And as we know what happened in last week's episode, he was basically shut down by his idol, by the person he has been looking up to the most for such a long time, and that was Haruto. Because remember the words Haruto told him when they were training, that he has no allure, that how long are you going to keep copying me? And hearing this from someone that you admire, someone you looked up to for such a long time, possibly some of you may understand where Riku is coming from. He completely shut himself off from the world, hiding in his room, not allowing anyone to enter. And it was, for the most part of the episode, people trying to figure out how to get Riku out of his room, how to open himself back up again, or like they leave him to his own devices in hopes that he will try to overcome this problem by himself. If not, then he will not be able to participate anymore in the training role session, and that he will be kicked out of the play, the potential of possibly being picked for the Shadow and Light's play. So for Hoshitani, knowing that he's Miracle Hoshitani, he's the guy that's able to break down the barriers of so much characters and to enter their hearts and be able to communicate with everybody. You saw he had a little trouble because Riku is different from all the characters he has encountered. So, and at the same time, they are very similar. So, for Hoshitani, this was kind of a difficult task, but he was able to muster up the courage to confront Riku. And while yes, they are similar, because yes, they do have someone they look up to, the biggest difference between these two characters is that Riku was so easy for him to give up on, his dream, versus Hoshitani. Now think about it. If you was to flip the script and put Hoshitani in Riku's place and put Otori in Haruto's place, if Hoshitani was told those same words, Hoshitani would have backfired and go about saying, I'll try to make you understand me, see that I have the potential of what it takes. I'm not going to give up, because Hoshitani does not know the meaning of giving up or backing down. So while yes, they're similar in some ways, that's the biggest difference about these two characters. And just by his words alone, because of that, it caused Riku to really look at Hoshitani for who he is and admire him for that. And what was so nice to see is that, he considers Hoshitani as a friend. Hoshitani is the type of guy that's so straightforward but extremely honest and friendly that he can make just about friends with anyone. I mean, anyone. And it was so nice to see that Riku become friends with Hoshitani to the point where he's like, can I call you Yuta? Like, we're friends, so can I call you Yuta, which is his first name. And in Japan, if you know, calling someone by their first name basis, is a huge thing, because that shows a level of closeness towards the person, either a lover or a very good friend, or even your family members, because usually people call each other by their last name first, then first name. So for the fact that Riku wanted to call Hoshitani by his first name shows that he wants to be close to Hoshitani. He wants to know more about him. So it was really amazing to see, from the first time we were introduced to Riku, someone who was closed off, someone who did not want to interact with Hoshitani, even trying to push him away and everything, to now seeing that he wants to know more about Hoshitani. Yes, he considers him his rival, but he also considers him a very good friend. And also, another point of his character development was that he went to Haruto himself and says, I no longer want to be like you. I want to be myself, because I want to follow the same dream. I want to be able to be on the same stage as my friends, chasing the same dream. So therefore, I'm going to be me. And to emphasize that even more, we saw it reoccurring in the series. We saw it reoccurring in this show, with them showing flowers. Like, every time a character has bloomed, there is like vines and flowers surrounding their body. Now, you saw for Riku, at first, every time the flowers shown to be blooming, they were dyed in blue. That showed that he was trying to be like Haruto, because Haruto's flower, I think it's a lily or some type of other flower, was blue. That's to signify his color. But when Riku actually accepted himself. It changed from blue to purple, and it blossomed to show that his growth as his own character is now beginning, and he's going to continue growing into this beautiful person or something of that sort. So that's to show Riku has grown as a character, and he's going to continue to grow for the remaining of the season. And I'm really glad for that, and I came to appreciate his character. He may not be my favorite character, but he's one of the characters that I like in this series. And to show that he also has a little sass to him when he told Nanjo, saying that it will be a miracle if I can ever become friends with you, would made me crack up so much. Now, we saw where Haruto left because they showed a plane line jet stream of the clouds, so he has left. The summer camp is over, and now it's down to crunch time. They are now going to start, the ancients are now going to choose who's going to be in what roles for the training roles. So by next week, and for the remaining of this season, we're going to see who will be chosen for what role and who's going to be able to play in this play. If anything, if it's left on a cliffhanger this season, it's either we get a new season or we get some OVAs to happen. But I cannot wait for the rest of the season and how it's going to play out. If you guys saw this week's episode of Starmyu season 2 episode 8, do drop a comment down below. I would love to see it and be able to respond back to you. The links are in the description box as always. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye.